Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to my hobby blog. Today I'm going to be reviewing Joe Abercrombie's third book in the First Law trilogy, Last Argument of Kings. So this is book 3 of First Law, as I said, and this definitely is one of the better fantasy series I've read. From beginning to end, I never really lost that much interest. There were some storylines throughout this trilogy that I didn't really care for as much, or I just didn't like. But for the most part, I think I really enjoyed this trilogy. I think this book especially was sort of back to the level that book 1 was at, because book 2 I felt like was a big step up compared to book 1. I really enjoyed book 1. Book 2 I enjoyed even more. But book 1, there were some storylines that I resonated well with, some I did not, and this is the same case with this book, because I would say 2 of the storylines I really, really loved. I had a lot of, I guess, anticipation around to see how the conclusion was going to be, and the other plot lines I just didn't really care for as much until particular twists by the end of the book, because one of my favorite parts of this trilogy are definitely the twists, because the story goes like one way and you're following it, it makes sense, it's cool, it's great, and then something will happen that completely like shakes the foundation of like everything going on, and then we just start going this way. And I just love those moments in this book, especially because we have 2 characters, Jezel, I almost said it, and then Logan Ninefingers. So Jezel I did not like at all in book 1. Book 2, I think he was my favorite character, which was such a big shock for me. And then I started this book, and I was still enjoying it, and then about a quarter of the way through, from out of nowhere, Bayaz, the arch Magi, or the first Magi, he's like, hey man, you're king now. You're actually a bastard son of the previous king, and it's time for you to become king. So here you go, have fun. I'm going to be the one making all the decisions, so just go with what I tell you. And I absolutely loved that storyline. That is one of my favorite storylines I've read of any books, I think, this year, including Book the New Sun. I just love the King Jezel arc in this book. It was just so twisty. It was so surprising. I thought it would happen if he was to become king. I thought it would happen like at the end of the book. And that does not happen. It happens in the beginning of this book, and the rest of the book is him being king. And one of my favorite books in fantasy is actually The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. And there's a very similar storyline where someone who views himself as very prepared to become king has now become king. And I just love that struggle that these characters have of wrestling with that world of being king or emperor, and having to work around all of the different forces and the constant pushing and pulling of many different factions. And I just loved it. I love this type of stuff, and this book just delivered on that. And we also have Logan Ninefingers, who becomes King of the North, and I kept wanting to, I wanted like to keep shouting out King of the North, just like in Game of Thrones, because it was just such a hype moment when he becomes king after he kills Bethard, I believe. And then he's leading all his Northmen to go fight the Gurkish, who are invading the capital city. And it is such a fun storyline, but I think it was Logan Ninefinger's storyline that I slogged through the most, because there's a lot of fighting in his perspectives, and I don't mind fighting in fantasy. It's good. I enjoy it. I love when it gets especially bloody and just creative. I think Malazan battles are my favorite battles in fantasy, but I also love the battles in Wheel of Time, Lord of the Rings, of course. But this book, it got to be a little too much for me in terms of the action. I enjoyed it while I was reading it. It was fun. There was a lot of just nasty like wounds and injuries and just everything you want in like a dark fantasy. But I felt like there was too much. I felt like it was a lot of scenes of Logan going from one battle scene to the next, and it was just that for the entire book, I felt like. And some scenes I really enjoyed. I wasn't bored while reading his scenes. Obviously, the dialogue is still 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I love Joe Abercrombie's dialogue and all the perspectives that we get. But Pharaoh is a storyline in this book that I was really disappointed by, because she and Bayaz and everyone else are looking for sort of the egg of the king, sort of. It's like this gem that's really powerful. It's like the Claw of the Conciliator, except this one sort of lets you contact the other side and contact demons and all this stuff. And they've been looking for this item for the entire trilogy. And I was so disappointed by how they basically just didn't see it. And Pharaoh stumbles upon it in the dark while she's following Bayaz and his assistant. And she's like, oh, what's this? Oh, it's the gem that we've been looking for. Good, I'm gonna hold on to this. And then Bayaz tells her, like, yeah, hold on to this. Don't let go of this. This is really important. And then she touches it and communes with the demons. And she doesn't really have any resolution after that, because her entire storyline leads to her going crazy. And now she's just hearing the demons constantly. They tell her to open to the other side, find the keys to the door, and just really torturing her mentally. And I did not like that. I did not like at all where Pharaoh ended up being. I understand that not everyone's going to have a happy ending. Glokta seemingly was going to have a very unhappy ending. And then everything turned out very well for him. And I loved, of course, Glokta's storyline. That's still my favorite one reading through the books. But Pharaoh, I mean, she was my favorite character. Book 1, Book 2, even more so. And in this book, like, she's just sort of really taken down a few pegs, and it just did not feel right. I did not like it. I wanted better for her, but I understand that we sort of needed one character to show the consequences of talking to these demons on the other side. And we also have a sequel series coming up, and I was reading the back of it, or the back of the book, which contains sort of like the synopsis for the first book and the sequels. And it sounds so fucking cool, and I can't wait to read it. I think overall I'll rate this book I think I'll give it like an 8.5, maybe an 8. I really wanted it to be like a 9 out of 10, but I was really slogging through Logan's storyline, honestly. It took me even longer to read this book than I thought it would. It's only 600 pages, but it felt like a 1,000-page book at times, and the pacing could have been better, but at the same time, I was just tapping out in terms of the battle scenes and started to skim them. And so if you're into that, it's probably a much higher rated book than me, which is fine. So I don't know if I'll do like a overall trilogy review, but because I've kind of already given it in this video, but I really, really enjoyed the series overall. I think this is a great series to go dive into fantasy with. I think that is very much a great place to start, is First Law. But I don't know, for people who've read a lot of fantasy books and a lot of series like this, it may not be as effective. And that's okay, because there's so much good in this series. It is so well written. I love the battles in the earlier books, and I love the dialogue. I love the twists. So good. Yeah. I don't know what else I have to say about the series, but I'm very much looking forward to the next trilogy. I believe the first book is called Best Served Cold, which is great. I love these titles of these books. They are so cool. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I hope you guys did too. Thank you so much for watching, and please have a great rest of the day.